Many of you at home simply want to know how and when will we reopen this country as we continue our series of reporting on what's next for America. Tonight, your questions: are we ready to reopen? Are they ready with tests to reassure us before we re-enter society, return to work or school? And can you catch this virus twice? The new headlines tonight. We get to all of those questions with this country's leading expert on infectious diseases, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who I spoke with before we came on the air tonight. Dr. Fauci, thanks for joining us here. And I know that everyone at home really just wants to know, when will America reopen? How will America reopen? We've heard from the president that in some places it will reopen perhaps after these 30 days, in some states even sooner. Do you agree with that? Is America ready to reopen?
I think we need to be careful, David, to make sure that we don't talk about America in totality, because there are so many different levels of outbreak and of involvement with this virus throughout the country, that there will be some areas of the country which will really be much more attuned to and ready to be able to get more towards normality than others. You know, I kind of refer to it as kind of a rolling reentry. So it's not going to be like a light switch that you turn on and off and say, on this date, America will resume its normal activities.
So regardless of time frame here, because you say it'll be a different time frame for different regions of the country, but regardless of the time frame, what needs to happen in order to reopen?
What you must be able to do is to have in place the capability of rapidly identifying by testing, getting someone who's infected out of the circulation, obviously taken care of if they need medical help, if they can be handled at home, do contact tracing. Do it in an efficient way where it means something, not contact tracing many days after an individual actually is exposed.
Dr. Fauci, you've talked a lot about testing and tracing, that is a necessary component here. And with all due respect, the American public watched weeks ago when testing was really important in this, and the very slow ramp up. How do you convince them that we're going to be ready to test all over again to try to reopen this country? May 1st is just a couple of weeks away.
So, David, what I am hearing and seeing from the parties involved that are responsible for the upticking of the tests, making them available, is that we are doing extraordinarily better now than we were at the time when there really were some significant challenges.
Are you telling us that there'll be tens of millions of tests ready so that American families can feel confident about leaving their homes and going back out into public and re-entering society?
David, I can't guarantee that, and I can't tell you that for sure. What I'm hearing from the people responsible for making sure these get out there is that we will have, and it's not only just the federal government doing it, it's the private enterprise, it's the companies that are able to make and implement these tests.
Is there going to be a second wave of infection in this country?
We don't know that. I mean, I think we just have to be humble to realize that we do not know everything about this virus and what it's capable of doing. It is entirely conceivable that we will see a rebound as we get into a seasonal situation, such as next fall or winter.
In the meantime, I know you're aware of these reports out of South Korea and even some anecdotal reports here in the U.S. of people coming down with this twice. Do we have any idea whether or not these cases are new infections or a reactivation of coronavirus already in the system? Are you concerned about that?
Well, David, I can tell you we do not know definitively whether these are reactivations or whether they are reinfections. And also, not only that, are these really rare outlier events, or is this something that is telling us something about the degree of protection? It's a challenge to find that out. The critical issue that's related to that people are asking, and it's important, is that when you are infected and you have an antibody, which is a protein that essentially fights the virus, and you have a level of antibody in you, are you protected? Namely, are you protected for a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year? Those are things that we have to find out, but we don't have the answers to that right now.
We know there's a handful of human trials underway for vaccines. You have said 18 months repeatedly. Is there any way to try to speed this up?
The answer is yes, but not substantially unless you have certain conditions. In order to be able to get a vaccine that you feel comfortable will be safe. And I say not only safe 15 minutes after you inject someone, that you don't get sort of an allergic reaction, but safe in that it does not, if a person gets infected, actually make it worse. We may learn a bit earlier, a few months earlier, but I think any less than a year, I think anything less than that would be carving off a couple of months, but not a lot more.
So that essentially, Dr. Fauci, takes us right into next winter. And I know a lot of people watching, are concerned about their parents, their grandparents. Does that mean we're going to have to be awfully careful with them and perhaps keep a distance from them all the way through, next January, February, given the timeline you just gave me?
David, if we get a rebound of virus in the community, which, as I said, is possible, it may not happen, but it's possible. If we do, and we don't have an effective and safe vaccine available, we will have to resort to the public health measures that have really fared us really rather well in many respects in the challenge we're going through right now.
A very long road ahead. I also asked Dr. Fauci about antibody tests. He says when you have antibodies that develop in response to an infection, generally speaking, with few exceptions, you do have some immunity. Now, whether that's true here and for how long, he says, remains unclear.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.